Why is it? Hey, you've heard the saying "enemy of my enemy," right? You've heard that saying before, right?
Yeah.
What's the end of that? What's the end of that saying? The enemy of my enemy
Enemy
is
of
my
my
what?
enemy is my enemy.
So
Yo,
don't know if y'all have heard, but for the first time in probably world history, Duke and North Carolina are somewhat on the same page,
oh wait, and NC State.
and NC State are
The
all on the same
the
page.
trifecta of Q.
When I tell you, I am so tempted to go play the lottery right now because I never thought I would see the day that
Never seen them on the same
entities
page.
from UNC, Duke, and NC State were all in agreement and all trying to go after the NCAA at the same time. So here's the rule. Here's what's going on. So players from UNC, Duke, and NC State have hearings and lawsuits against the NCAA because they are trying to get an extra year of eligibility due to due to having careers riddled with injuries, ailments, and personal issues. Like
Yeah.
they've all had like they've gone through situations where they've suffered through injuries and so on and so forth. And the players I know from UNC and Duke, Karen Bergeron and JJ Jones from UNC, Ryan Smith and Trayvon
Bergeron's from Duke.
Devones.
Bergeron's from Duke.
Bergeron's from Duke. You sure?
Bergeron's from Duke. I went back and reread it from ESPN today. Bergeron's from Duke.
Eh.
Yeah. So Ryan Smith, Trayvon Devonay or what? Devonay. I think I don't know. Cameron Bergeron, J. Jones, and Corey Corley Jr. from North Carolina State are all basically saying that with
I'm
the
blaming.
5-year ability rule, it is creating a potential loss of earnings between like 100,000 to 500,000,
Yep.
and it's also causing a it's also causing them to be underdeveloped
As a
when it
pro.
comes to the game as a
Yeah.
pro and things of that nature. I'm looking at it like, and you know, the NCAA is arguing that no, that's
No.
not what's happening, because if you go and shift this even more, an already shifting culture is gonna get even more rocky than it is than it
Here's
already
my
is.
issue though. They've done medical red shirts and medical exemptions all the time.
Forever.
This isn't the first time y'all have done this. Y'all let one quarterback play until he was 28. He had like an 8-9 year exemption because he kept getting injured.
That's the other problem I have with that is
What are we
you
talking
trying
about?
to fight for extra eligibility is going to cause, and I feel really part like the underlying issue is you got dudes wanting to basically ride the NIL thing for as long as they can ride the NIL thing. I really think
Definitely.
that's part of the reason. And the other problem is you're gonna have if you let this happen, and I don't think it's just the extra 1 year. I think they just want extra eligibility, period. I think they're trying to blow out the whole 5-year restriction of you being eligible to play in a college sport. And I'm thinking, no, if you blow that out and you end up playing and you end up being allowed to play longer than 5 years, you're going to have 32-year-old running backs sitting on the bench earning NIL money for what? Then on
Now,
top of that, you're you're removing the development for guys who are coming behind you. If you can't develop in 5 years, and you feel like you can't develop into a pro in 5 years in college, you're not going to develop as a pro in the pro leagues.
I can I can see that, and I
You're
can
not
agree
going to
with that.
develop as well as you
I
think you
definitely
will.
agree there
In the
should
pro
be a cap. Like you can't be 32 in college. I agree with that.
Yeah,
My
SP
thing is
28.
this.
Who was it? Chris Wooden?
Yeah.
Wooten?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wooten was
Brandon
20.
Whedon. It was
Yeah, Brandon
Whedon.
Wheaton was 28 when he got drafted
It
to
was
Cleveland to the
Whedon.
Cleveland
Because
Browns.
he was playing at
He was
Oklahoma State up until he was 28. I will never forget that.
because at the time he was the oldest drafted player in NFL history at that point, if I remember correct.
But
Or the
my thing
oldest
is
drafted
this.
quarterback.
My thing is this. I'm not against the NCAA having this 5-year policy window because, like you said, 5-year window, 4 years of eligibility to play, then you can go to the pros. I get that. And if you play all 4 years, no injuries, no nothing, and
Mhm.
you play for your 4 years of eligibility in that 5 window, yeah, you have no case. But if you have a medical case, like
Yeah,
a
you get the
medical
exemption.
reason, you get a 1-year exemption, or you get a 1-year exemption to play that additional year. To me, the NCAA is acting like they're asking for like a 4-year exemption. Now, if they're asking for that, now I haven't seen the affidavit. I don't know the full context of the affidavit or how long they're asking for an extension.
Right.
I'm assuming it's just 1 year. If it's 4, if they're asking for like an additional 4 years, nah, throw that out the window, bro, because you're
Like,
gonna be 30.
I'd even be willing to hear 2 years at best. I'd even be willing to hear you out at 2 years. But if you go over 2 years, you're trying
You're
to game. You're trying to you're scamming me, bro.
You're
You're trying to scam us
scamming.
out of something. And you're
And
doing the most.
and for those of y'all know, if y'all want to know, they do have the cases set to go to North Carolina Business Court on April 22nd of next week. So we may have some news about that. Actually, what?
Just might.
Nah, because that'll be it'll come out the day of the next podcast next week. It'll be So
well, we
they
may
probably
not have
won't
news
have
on
an
it
answer.
that day. We may have news on it that following week. We'll
So
have news
probably by the 29th, probably by the
We might
podcast
have
on the
by
29th, we might have an update regarding that.
remember they're going to court on the 22nd. They may not
Right.
have
I was about to say
like
you want to be funny? They go into court, have it solved and figured, not even solved. NCAA looks at them, boy, if you don't get this out my face.
Not even that. They come into court. They come into court at 8:00, 8:05. No. Go.
Hey,
they walk in the courtroom.
This is what the judge gonna do. Yeah, nah.
Because then they're gonna look at it, okay, how much did you make though?
How much did you make? $750,000.
Let's say you lost $200,000 last year because you got hurt. How much did you make besides that loss? 1.2 mil. Get out of my courtroom.
Get out of my courtroom. I ain't here for that. Get out of my courtroom. Hey, what you mean?
How old are you?
31.
18. He said, how old are you? 19. Get out of my courtroom.
Hey, you know what I was doing at 19? You know what I was doing? Paper routes.
Oh, paper routes.
Paper routes. In the snow. In
washing
Iceland.
cars.
It's like, why were you in Iceland? Don't worry about it.
Then I was going to class. Then I was at practice at 6 a.m. just to go to McDonald's at 7:30.
Hey, look what SP said.
Got dressed for nothing. Facts. Got dressed for nothing.
Got dressed for nothing, bro. You wasted my time in this courtroom.
I'd have had my up and done for what?
But no.